The Fields Owner Group proudly presents Huddle Up, with Bucky Brooks, JP Shadrick, John Oehser, and NFL Network analyst and former Jaguar Bucky Brooks bring you the latest on your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome to the new era.
Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks starts right now.
It is Wednesday afternoon, and it is Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, JP Shadrick, John Oehser. We've got a busy show ahead as we look forward to the Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts. The aforementioned Bucky Brooks will join us from NFL Network. The aforementioned John Oehser is sitting right beside me right now. Well, socially distant. Looking ahead to Week 10, the Jags and the Colts coming up at Lucas Oil Stadium. The Jags' defensive performance against the Bills, we'll touch on that and see if they can replicate something against that, or something similar to that against the Indianapolis Colts, though a different feeling offense. The Jags' offense searching for big plays as well, and that's a season-long theme. All right, Bucky, good afternoon to you. Coming off a W now and a little positivity, and I must say, John, you and I are underdressed today for this show.
I live underdressed. Let me tell you how bad it's gotten around here, okay?
Okay.
Let me tell you how, it's great on the field. In my world, I'm on Jaguars Drive Time this morning. We're closing it out. Ashlyn Sullivan with a drum roll, pomp and circumstance, teases Jaguars Huddle Up. Tune in to Jaguars Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks and JP Shadrick.
Oh, no, it didn't.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Why do I get it, but,
Wow.
maybe I need to wear, like, whatever this is, the little pocket thing.
Oh, the pocket square.
It's a pocket square, John, is what that is.
You got going. Maybe I need to spruce up my act,
about
if
that?
you will. So, anyway, let's get on to Huddle Up with JP Shadrick and Bucky Brooks.
And somebody else. Of course, the Jaguars back to practice today, getting ready for the Week 10 game against the Indianapolis Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium. Trevor Lawrence out there, limited today. James Robinson off to the side today. But Urban Meyer, at least earlier in the week, has said he's confident in all those guys. Cam Robinson as well was limited today in the first day of practice. But also today, head coach Urban Meyer discussing the lack of big plays on offense. It's been a theme all season long for the Jags head coach.
Who you give the ball to, who you hand the ball to, you flip the ball to. Ag's a guy that every time he touches it, and so is Laviska, so we got to be smart. Those guys are kind of big play guys. Maybe not so much out at the one position, but maybe at other positions. And I believe Dan Arnold has big play potential, and I don't believe we're utilizing him enough yet.
So in lieu of big roster changes in the middle of the season, that was the idea. Hey, get it to guys different ways. And you see on your screen here what has happened this year. The Jaguars are near the bottom of the league in passing plays of 25-plus yards and middle of the pack in rushing plays of 10 or more yards. Well, they're not going to drive down the field 15 plays every time out in the NFL or in big-time college football. And Urban said that this year. They've at some point got to figure something out here, Bucky, but considering where they are right now, we're halfway through the season. Where do you find this?
I don't know if you can find it in the middle of the season. Like right now, when you look at the personnel, I don't know if there's anyone on the perimeter that really scares you. And so, JP, we can talk about wanting more big plays, and we can talk about the speed that you have to put on the field. But right now on the roster, there are not enough of those guys to create those explosives. And so what you have to do is you have to manufacture them in a variety of different ways. And this becomes more on the play designer and play caller than it does the personnel that you have. And so it's the trick plays that you may see, it's the misdirection screens, it is rolling one way, throwing it back across the field. It is those kinds of things that you have to do schematically to create the big plays that you can't do because of your personnel. Because right now, they don't have a speed receiver that's going to do it. And I think it's unrealistic to believe that Jamal Agnew, as great as he's been playing, that he is going to give you the explosive plays that you need to kind of rise from the cellar of the big play part of the passing game that we're seeing where they rank compared to others in the league.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Maybe it's because we've been talking about it so much. I don't know where it comes from. I agree with Bucky. I don't know that there's an answer that's going to happen. To show you, I hate to be negative Ned all the time, but against Seattle.
No, you don't. You love it.
I really. You don't love this, JP. You don't love being this way. You don't love being around it. You don't love being this way. But against Seattle, the long pass play from Trevor Lawrence was 17 yards, and it was a pass to James Robinson. Against the Bills, Beathard hit the one to Dan Arnold.
Yep.
And he had one to Agnew. The one to Arnold felt like it was in the air forever. Credit to him for making it. But the longest play for Trevor, 23 yards to Agnew, it was a dump off, or not a dump off, but it was a 3-yard pass that Agnew turned into 20 yards.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's nothing within the usual framework of this offense. There's nothing downfield right now. They missed a couple on Sunday. Ashlyn asked me on drive time this morning, about the drops. Well, my thing is on the drops, it feels like there's a drop downfield every once in a while in this offense. But right now, because there's no consistent playmaker to do it, every drop feels like a catastrophe. Well, that's not how it's supposed to be. Usually missed opportunities downfield, you get 3 or 4 of them a game, there's a drop, but you get a couple. It's a percentage thing. You're not going to hit every big play downfield. You're going to have some drops. You're going to have some misses. And that's why they're so magnified right now, I guess is what I'm getting at, Bucky. Everything you don't hit downfield feels like, oh, my goodness, they missed their only opportunity. To Bucky's point, they've got to get more guys so that those opportunities don't feel so pressurized and so that you're getting 5 or 6 and you hit 2 or 3 and you're going. I don't see that happening this year. I wish it would. But the personnel isn't there.
Yeah, that's what it is. I like the idea, though, Bucky, the double reverse, the flea flicker, the, mix in that kind of stuff, hook and ladder.
It's funny. So now let me preface it, because early in the year we tried to do some flea flickers and they were picked off and all that other stuff. So I would rather keep the ball and make sure we don't turn it over than try some of the trick stuff. But the only way that you can generate it is the play caller has to have some things in the bag to be able to do it. We have seen it from a team, New England. When they don't have explosive personnel, you see more double passes and reverse things. It's like a regular part of their offense. For the Jaguars, those plays have to become a regular part of the offense to be able to generate explosive plays, because you just don't have the personnel to create it.
Maybe throw out the old 23 skidoo.
I was going to ask you what your favorite trick play was, and I knew exactly.
The old 23 skidoo.
I don't know. What's 23 skidoo? What's that? What would that be?
I don't even know. Stuff comes out of my mouth, Bucky. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Let's move along to Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars quarterback. He spoke to the media today, as he does each Wednesday, and the defense ruled the day on Sunday against the Bills. The offense didn't have a lot of great moments. They were so close to a few big plays, but it could change week to week, according to the Jags quarterback.
I like where we're at. Obviously, that wasn't our best game as an offense, but it was really cool to see the defense just have our back and, just dominate it for 4 quarters. And there's going to be games where, hopefully not a lot, but that's gonna happen. And then there's going to be games on the other side where we're going to have to pick them up. So that's just a part of this game, and I think that shows how far this team's come. That one side of the ball can struggle and the other side can play well enough to still win the game, And we did enough down the stretch, control the clock and, took advantage of some opportunities, kicked some field goals. Matty Ice did a good job there. So all those things go together, but we can definitely play better. So that's a good sign.
So Trevor Lawrence's numbers, of course, far from ideal in the game. 15 of 26, 118 yards. He left the game with an ankle injury and came back. That's the good news. But it's what it is. They did what they needed to do, got in the field goal range a few times, and, it's going to change week to week. Some weeks the defense has not played well. The offense has had some good moments, Bucky, and that's complimentary football, as Urban would say.
Yeah, it is complimentary football, and it's one of the things that we have to get comfortable with, particularly knowing the personnel. After 9 weeks of the season, you kind of know what your team is. And we know what this offense is. We know what this team is. And offensively, it's more of a pedestrian offense where you're going to have to drive the ball. You need the benefit of turnovers. You need the benefit of things to kind of go your way to move it down the field, because it's too hard to go the length of the field on 4 and 5 yard gains. And so the one thing that you want to see from Trevor Lawrence is, can he manage the game? Can he take care of the football? Can he take advantage of the opportunities that do occasionally pop up in the passing game? But the most important part I want to see from him is the toughness, the intelligence, the managerial skills, where he looks like he can be a franchise quarterback down the line. And I think he has shown those things. You just want to continue to see him put it on display.
Yeah, I expect very unfairly for him to receive criticism the rest of the season for being a game manager and for not developing. I think that's going to be a theme. And when I say unfairly, I think it will be as incorrect as it could possibly be. But I'd say that because I expect what Bucky said. This offense is going to have to go 80-yard drives, 12 or 13 plays, and that's going to be hard to do. I don't think he's going to have all of a sudden magically consistency downfield to be able to hit big plays, to be, quote, dynamic. So I think the Jaguars' offense will be peaking in a lot of cases between 17 and 20 points. He will probably get some interceptions from forcing things into situations that aren't there, because he'll have a choice, either do that or not be going downfield. So I think there'll be some situations where he makes some mistakes that really aren't his fault, but when you're throwing to covered guys, that's what's there. I think he's going to be an unbelievable dynamic player going forward as they get more offensively around him. But I think it's going to be difficult within the scope of this, and I'm with Bucky. I want to see the toughness. I want to see decision-making improving, which it already has. So I think that's going to be his lot in life this year, and I can't wait until the lot in life improves because of what's around him, and I think it will.
That will be nice in the future. Let's move to the defense now. They have a challenge coming up this week, of course. They had a big challenge last week against the Buffalo Bills as well. Jonathan Taylor in the running game of the Indianapolis Colts. Josh Allen, the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, had some comments today.
He's just explosive, you know what I'm saying? Like, he breaks tackles, he's in and out of backs, and he can catch the ball well. So, you know, he's a great physical running back, and it's a good challenge this week. We have been statistically good against the run, and that's, you know, we're hoping to keep that trend going, and we have all faith that we will. And, you know, for us, we have to stop the run, you know what I'm saying, first, if we want to have any success in the back end or just rushing the passer. So, you know, we're getting ready for this challenge, and we're looking forward to it, and, you know, we're ready to play.
That's Josh Allen. He's the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, a career-high 8 tackles, all solo last week, a sack, a fumble recovery, and an interception. And that's a big-time game for Allen. And a different challenge this week, Bucky, against this running attack for the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is a decent game away from overtaking Derrick Henry for the league lead in rushing yards. And you see what he's done against the Jaguars in the recent past. Week 17 of last season, the 2020 season, that was actually in January of 2021. But week 17 of 2020, 253 yards on the ground against this defense. So you know firsthand what this guy can do.
Yeah, you know firsthand what he can do. And I think when you look at the Indianapolis Colts, number one objective and priority for the defense has to be to stop the running game. Jonathan Taylor, you have the stat down there, 253 yards. That's unacceptable. You can't allow him to get untracked. He is one of the best young running backs in football. He has size to him, so you got to make sure that you put your pads on him. You have to gang tackle him to get him down. You cannot allow him to be a factor. But it's more than just Jonathan Taylor. It's the other guys that they have that come in. Nyheim Hines is a dangerous playmaker behind him. He can do it as a runner or as a receiver out of the backfield. If they elect to use Marlon Mack has some toughness and physicality to his game. The number one thing that the Jaguars have to do this week is stop the run. You want to make this become a Carson Wentz game. If the Jaguars can force Carson Wentz to throw it 35 or more times, the game is playing in their favor, and the odds go up in them winning because he will make a mistake. But it starts with you got to stop Jonathan Taylor and that crew.
I have a question for the scout.
Okay, John.
I love asking the scout question. I'm not even sure if he is a scout today, though.
Yeah, he's dressed up.
He's a
better
GM
than a
today.
Scout. Yeah,
Team
he's a-
president. I have a question for
Just
team
for the job
president
that you
Bucky
want.
Brooks. Josh Allen, the Jaguars. Josh Allen. I get that there was outstanding game on Sunday. You've been watching this team all season. The last 3 weeks, to me, he's playing the run as well as he is pass rushing. Where is he starting to rank in the league at that position? Is he starting to elevate and become a franchise guy?
Oh, he absolutely is a franchise guy. I think he's in the top 10 when it comes to what he can do. I think the unique thing about Josh is the way that he is deployed. You saw him drop in coverage. You've seen him move around and do a bunch of different things. He's different, right? So it's different comparing Josh Allen to a Myles Garrett, because Myles Garrett is always hand in the dirt going forward. Josh Allen is doing a little more of the creative stuff that you're seeing from these edge rushers. But what I will say about Josh Allen in the defense, I feel like Joe Cullen finally has a grip on his personnel. He knows exactly what he has, and because he knows what he has a better understanding of how to play them and how to deploy them and how to mix in things. And we are seeing the Jaguars become more aggressive because there's a better understanding of what you have, how you have to play them. That's why we're seeing more of the sub packages. That's why we're seeing Josh Allen kind of come and go as a rusher and in coverage. We're seeing Rudy Ford on the field. It's because Joe Cullen is now figuring out, here's the personnel, here's how I have to use them to give us the best chance to win. And you kind of like what the results have been.
All right, guys, let's come back in a moment and look a little deeper into the Colts, especially on their defensive side. They have a couple of big-time playmakers there. Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks is brought to you by Fields Cadillac of Jacksonville and Fields Cadillac St. Augustine, members of the Fields Auto Group. And this is Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks on the Jaguars Hard Rock Sportsbook Digital Network.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $millions to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit vystarcu.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
A lot of guys slide to them. That means your center goes to them and you get four hands on them. You know, it's not a complicated defense. It's just really well coached. A little bit like last week. This is you look at the Bills and the Colts, very similar defensive structures, a little different. They're 4-3 defenses. They're a little different. But Buckner and 90, you know, a lot of people slide to him, but that leaves number 90, a big 325-pound nose, isolated. But you have to account for him, either help with the back or help with the center.
That's Urban Meyer, of course, discussing blocking DeForest Buckner, former first-round pick, now with the Colts, and still a problem. He's got 42 tackles, the second most of any defensive tackle in the NFL this year. He gets in the backfield a bunch. He's a problem. That number 90 he was talking about is Grover Stewart on the defensive line. And that's just where it begins on defense. Welcome back to Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, JP Shadrick, Bucky Brooks. Oh, and John Oehser is here as well.
Hey, Buck.
Jaguars.com senior writer. The Colts defense, it starts – hey, Bucky. The Colts defense starts there with Buckner and that defensive line. You know, you can go to the second level. Darius Leonard's a fantastic player. We'll get to him coming up. But This you can't let DeForest Buckner wreck the game up front, which is what he can do.
He absolutely can do it. And I think it's important that everyone understands philosophically what the Indianapolis Colts want to do. They are a Tampa 2 team. John obviously knows this coverage and this defensive scheme well. Tony Dungy popularized the scheme that was really invented by Chuck Noll back in the day in the 70s. And what they want to do is they want to win up front. They want to have a 4-man line. They want to put 7 in the box so they can play cover 2 on the outside. And they want to have a dominant player in the middle of the defense that is a disruptor. That is DeForest Buckner. And when you surround DeForest Buckner with explosive athletes on the outside, like a Kwity Paye, like a Darius Leonard on the second level, man, magic happens. And this is a team that when we watch the game on Sunday, a couple of things are going to stand out. I don't know if there's a team that plays as hard as the Indianapolis Colts in terms of their ability to run from sideline to sideline. They run to the ball like their hair is on fire. They are a physical team, and they are a team that is always searching for the ball. They're punching at it. They're stripping at it. They're poking at it. They're trying to scoop and score. They're trying to pick it up off tips and overthrows and turn it over. And a lot of it starts with DeForest Buckner creating disruption at the point of attack and also collapsing the pocket. So the line has to wear the big sombrero. They got to find a way to keep him out of the mix, because if he gets going, all hell is going to break loose for this defense.
Yeah, they really have what they want in that defense. I'm not as familiar with the secondary as probably Bucky is, but Bucky's point is exactly right. The Colts, when I covered them for 10 years, looked year after year after year to find a Warren Sapp. And, you can look a long time and not find him, but to find a disruptor in the middle of the defense, never really could find it. They got by with Freeney and Mathis, who, were very, very good pass rushers, but they could get the ball out, those two guys. Darius Leonard is that guy.
Yeah,
so
he is.
They have the ability to play that scheme at a very high level with what they want to do. The Colts are impressive to me right now for the same reason the Titans are impressive. I'm always impressed with teams that know what they are and play to that, because I think it helps you as the season goes on. They know exactly how they want to play. They want to run. They want to manhandle you up front offensively, and they want to play defense in the way that Bucky says. They're 4-5 right now. This is a huge game for the Colts. They believe winning Sunday gets them back in that hunt. It keeps them on the graphic, in the hunt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, JP. You like that graphic.
We haven't been on there a lot, yes.
So they believe they can get back into it with a win that they believe they should get. I think it's mammoth for the Jaguars, JP. You win this game, all of a sudden, for the first time in a long time around here, you have back-to-back beaten teams that believe in themselves. You've heard me talk over the years. Teams that believe they're in it, that are playing for something, it's a different thing. Jaguars haven't beaten 2 of those kind of teams in a row, back-to-back weeks, maybe since 17. Maybe I'm missing one. But that's a huge thing for a team that down the hall believes that they're improving. They have a chance this weekend to improve it against what I think is a pretty good team.
Yeah, John, let me step in. Not only that, you talk about the team doing it. I believe this is one of the biggest games of Urban Meyer's young career as an NFL coach. Okay, because you go through the little turmoil or whatever for about 3 or 4 weeks, but you beat the Buffalo Bills. If you come back and follow that up with the Indianapolis Colts with a win, now you have all ears and attention in the locker room. And all of that stuff that we talked about, that goes out the door. Because now it appears that the formula and the recipe that he talked about all offseason, it appears that it's working. And so if you're Urban Meyer and the coaching staff, you understand that this is a huge game, because what it does is it resets the program and it gives you a little more credibility in terms of what you were preaching, the philosophies and the processes that you were selling to players. That's why this is a huge one, because if the players sense that, hey, Coach Meyer has a plan and the plan is working, then you have an opportunity to really go to the next level when it comes to the development of the program.
Excellent point there. And, of course, after this week, the Jags are home for the next 2 weeks. San Francisco coming all the way for a 1 o'clock Eastern time game. That's a 10 a.m. body clock for them. And then the Falcons are here the week after that. So, yeah, things would be a little bit different. We touched on Darius Leonard. Let's take a closer look at the fantastic linebacker for the Indianapolis Colts, who has 4 takeaways this year, tied for 4th most in the NFL for any individual player. 2 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions. He's forced a bunch of fumbles as well. Only Trayvon Diggs, Kevin Byard, the arch rival in Tennessee, and J.C. Jackson have more takeaways this year than this guy right here. And, last week we saw it, Bucky. He reaches in, punches that ball out, and, this Colts defense leads the league in takeaways. 20 of them, 10 of them are fumble recoveries. They just get the ball out a bunch of different ways, and Urban Meyer on the Urban Meyer show last night said they're bringing in a couple extra points of emphasis on holding the ball, having guys swat at the ball at practice this week. And, you can never really say that too much, but this is a week you really need to emphasize it.
Yeah, you need to emphasize it. Haven't had an opportunity to cover them last Thursday when they played the Jets. The thing that is apparent, they are punching at it, man. They are really at it. Whenever you're running the ball, whenever you're getting close to going down, the first defender comes in to make the tackle. The second defender is punching at the ball. And when I talk about punching, it is a Mike Tyson punch at the football. And if you're not really holding it secure and high and tight, like coaches always preach, the ball is coming out. And it's not only that part of it that makes the ball come out where they're punching at it. It is the hustle and the effort of the unit. They are running to the ball like madmen. And what happens is a ricochet effect when you get hit by 4 and 5 defenders at one time. And so their job and their entire focus is to take the ball away. And so they're going to hit you, multiple hats on the ball, and multiple guys swinging at the ball. And if you're not aware and conscious of protecting the ball on every down, you're going to have a couple of turnovers. And we've seen that happen.
Yeah, I referenced Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis earlier. They were both off the charts good at getting the ball out when they were hitting the quarterback. Darius Leonard guy's a little bit of a different cat because he doesn't always need to have the quarterback. Those guys, it's not easy to get the ball out from a quarterback, but it's easier. If you're coming from the blind side and the ball is out, you whack at it. Leonard has this knack no matter where he is on the field. And talking to Mike Chappell, who's covered the Colts forever, so he covered Mathis and Freeney same time I did, said Leonard is as good as he's been around in terms of getting the ball out. If you take his forced fumbles, he has 9 takeaways. Yeah. If you add the forced fumbles in. I would rather have the FF, the forced fumble, next to my defensive player than the fumble recovery.
Absolutely.
Because your fumble recoveries can be kind of fluky. Forced fumbles with this guy, he's otherworldly at it. I think he's one of these unique guys that I'm not sure how you define it. I'm not sure anybody else tries to be as good at that stat as he is, but he's unbelievably good, JP.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And a problem for this Jaguars offense, of course, this week. We'll see if the Jaguars can manage it and get something going offensively. We'll come back in a moment, guys. And social media questions, a couple in the hopper today. Folks getting ready to face the Indianapolis Colts this week. They've got some questions for Bucky. Oh, and John, too. Yeah, John is here also. That's coming up. Daly's Play schedule. We've got 2 shows left on the docket. They're coming up Friday and Saturday. Kane Brown, tickets at dailysplace.com. And this is Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks on the Jaguars Hard Rock Sportsbook Digital Network.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
You know what you expect at an airport hotel. A bed, a shuttle that's never on time, and if you're lucky, a day-old Danish on your way out the door. But at the Crowne Plaza Jacksonville Airport, you get a renovated lobby, restaurant, and bar, and 10,000 square feet of luxurious space for memorable family and business events. So stop by, stay a while, and expect to be surprised. Crowne Plaza Jacksonville Airport. Book online or call 1-877-2-CROWN. That's 1-877-227-6963.
Everyone's so busy keeping up. Forget about the Joneses. We all on our telephones with the texts and the tweets and the beats. What he said, she said, can't even follow the thread. Down the hole, we all go. Me, I like keeping up too, with my Corona and my attitude. That's La Vida Más Fina.
Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer. Imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Welcome back. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, JP Shadrick, and John Oehser is with us as well. It's Wednesday afternoon. The Jaguars face the Indianapolis Colts in Week 10 at Lucas Oil Stadium, the house that John Oehser built in downtown Indy. Let's go to social media today. We got some questions on Twitter earlier today, and here's question number one from @the_JagsFan615. Hey, Bucky, did you see anything different scheme-wise with the defense, or did they just simply play better?
I would say a couple of different things. I do believe they played better. It was a better overall effort. I felt like the execution was at a high level. More man-to-man coverage, more blitzing, more disruption. Did a few different things to keep Josh Allen on his toes. A lot of people refused to come after him. The Jaguars came after him a little bit, and they had some success being able to get home. And then the only way you can do that is to have great coverage on the outside. They did a really good job of covering the receivers. It was something that I was worried about coming into the game. But, man, they played great on the perimeter. And when you play great on the perimeter, it gives you a chance to add more defenders to the pass rush and have success.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that Rudy Ford's presence can be overestimated.
Yeah, huge.
Did a nice job at that safety position. They've been looking for an answer there. And I thought the key was, and it's what concerns me this week, I was shocked, Bucky, and I don't watch every NFL team the way you do, shocked at how little the Bills tried to run. I guess that's their MO, and they've been successful before. I thought the Jaguars did a great job of basically saying, you know what, this team really doesn't try to run very much. We're going to pin our ears back and get after Josh Allen and assume they can't beat us with the run. To me, I wonder with the Bills if they don't have to figure out something to get a little more of a presence in that, or else teams are going to do that to them. And I'm only seeing one game. They're much smarter than I. They've got their offense figured out. But I thought the Jaguars really took advantage and accentuated that on Sunday.
Absolutely. And, John, you pointed out something that was a major concern with the Bills going forward. They don't have a big-time running back. They also don't have a big physical back, which is what you really need down in the playoffs. And so this is a team that everything is all about number 17. He runs it, he throws it, he makes every play. And if he is off a little bit, that offense can tend to struggle. And for whatever reason, he was off. The Jaguars did do a great job of kind of disrupting his rhythm. But the lack of a running game, or the lack of a mere threat of the run, allowed the Jaguars to pin their ears back and go after number 17 hard.
Let's get to our final question on social media today, and this is from @JCPX. Where is this team most likely to find receivers, free agency or draft, and who might they be? Yeah, get out your crystal ball, Bucky.
Yeah, the crystal ball, I would say they need to double up. And so in team building terms, that means you need to find some guys in free agency, and you also need to find guys in the draft. If I had my druthers, I would go and get a high-priced marquee free agent and also spend a first-round pick or maybe even a second-round pick on a big-time wide receiver, because there are a bunch of wide receivers in this draft class. There are always a ton of wide receivers. The problem in free agency, some of these guys won't get to the marketplace. Devontae Adams is the number one free agent. It's unlikely that the Packers are going to let him out the building, either through a contract extension or through the franchise tag. Allen Robinson, who has already done a tour of duty in Jacksonville, he's another free agent that could be out there. Now you have Odell Beckham Jr., who I thought maybe the Jaguars would make a play on the waiver wire just to bring him in so you can have that kind of marquee player on your team. But he's another one. But outside of that, man, it's tough because Chris Godwin, but he's not a speed guy. So there's some names, but I don't know if the names are great fits for what the Jaguars need. And I just worry about it taking too long for a young wide receiver to develop. So it's the number one question, number one priority in free agency, putting more weapons around Trevor Lawrence.
Well, we're on the same page, Buck, because it's some positions you get yourself in a bind with. You know, the Jaguars did it at tight end here for years, where you just can't quite get that guy in the draft, and then every fan wants to say, "Well, go get him in free agency." Well, you know,
if they tried in free agency,
if they're great, they're probably not getting to free agency. So you've got to draft and develop. And to me, there's been exceptions in recent years, so hopefully they can find an exception. But it's such a hard position to come in and be the guy right away that, they need to hit. It's not easy to hit. And I think the draft's going to be fascinating. I almost wonder, you're starting to shore up some positions, feel better about some places. I was worried about corner. I feel a little better about corner. Do you go after it twice early? Do you draft in the first round and third round? It's important enough in today's game and with this offense that I wonder if you don't do that.
Yeah, I think without fully knowing where the draft situation is going to be when it comes to the number of picks that the Jaguars will have, I do think you double up. And I think you double up at the top of the board. I don't know. Like right now, it's kind of been proven that you don't necessarily have to take a first-round wide receiver to get immediate production. But, John, you talk about a second and a third-round receiver. Yes, because that's where the sweet spot has been in terms of looking at the wide receivers. A.J. Brown and Devontae Adams, Mike Thomas, on and on and on. It's been these second-round players. But take two bites at the apple, because sometimes the first guy that you take isn't the guy. The second guy ends up being the guy. So double up. And then in the later rounds, take a couple more darts. I think you have to bring in big, fast receivers. No more little guys. Big guys that can run, stretch the field down vertically.
Has the Bucky Brooks top 5 wide receiver rankings come out yet? Or is it too early?
No, not quite. It's kind of early, man. I'm still trying to get my brain and my arms around what's going on in the pros. But I've been looking a little bit at the college game, just a little bit.
Okay. When do those come out anyway? Like January?
Oh man, not till we get to the combine. We get close to going to St. Elmo's and doing all that. And John takes me out for a nice little meal, and I run up the tab on him and let slide the check over to him and let him take care of it.
Hey, whatever the team will pay for,
he's
Buck.
the mayor.
He's
the mayor.
I tell you what,
Indianapolis. So
if I say to Chad Johnston, who runs this show around here, I'm taking Bucky Brooks to dinner, that's carte blanche, baby.
Yeah.
That is carte blanche.
I might join you on that one.
That is Elmo's one night and whatever the other Elmo's is the next night.
Love that. Sounds good to me. Let's come back. One final segment ahead. Our final thoughts ahead of the Jaguars and the Colts. And this is Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks on the Jaguars Hard Rock Sportsbook Digital Network.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit vystarcu.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
Hard Rock Sportsbook is coming to Florida. Join the Seminole Tribe of Florida and Hard Rock for safe, trusted, and completely legal sports betting. Go to hardrocksportsbook.com to get all the latest details leading up to launch. Play remotely from anywhere in Florida, including on your phone or computer or in person at Seminole Casinos. Want great promotions like free bets, odds boosts, and bonuses? Hard Rock Sportsbook will have all your favorite bets and promotions. Hard Rock Sportsbook, the best place to be a Jaguars fan. Coming soon. Must be at least 21 and physically present in Florida to wager. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-800-522-4700.
Welcome back. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks. And the Jaguars Foundation is at it again. Veterans Day coming up tomorrow. And with the City of Jacksonville Military Affairs and Veterans Department, along with CSX, the Jags Foundation awarded $67,000 in grants to 11 different veteran-affiliated organizations around Jacksonville. Good stuff. It was a ceremony today at City Hall, including Mayor Lenny Curry and Jaguars President Mark Lamping. So good stuff. Veterans Day tomorrow. Many things are closed around on the national holiday. We'll be open for business.
We'll be open.
For sure. The Jaguars will be on the practice field again tomorrow. Looking forward to the Indianapolis Colts. Bucky, how you feeling about this one Sunday?
Look, man, I think this is a big one. I think there's a lot of pressure on the Jaguars offensive staff to kind of figure out a way to get it done. The good thing for Trevor is he has the opportunity to show how much he's improved from the first game against this kind of coverage. Because remember, against the Houston Texans, he struggled seeing Lovie Smith's version of Tampa 2, because what it does is it tests your patience and your discipline when it comes to pushing the ball down the field. And then overall, it's just, this is a physical football team. Frank Reich wants to beat you up. He wants to run it right at you and do those things. And so this would be a great test, because the Jaguars can stand up to the test of dealing with the Indianapolis Colts. Man, there's a lot of optimism that will kind of come out of that game, leading them down the last half of the season.
Yeah, boy, do they miss DJ Chark against this kind of a team.
Yeah, I agree.
Remember the pass in the opener where Trevor hit it right between the two defensive backs in the end zone. And it was late, it didn't matter, but it showed what kind of play DJ can make. And then, I don't know if DJ's a 1, 2, 3, whatever, but they missed that threat against this kind of a team. You know, I think the Jaguars will play well Sunday. I really do. I think they will feel it will feel like a game where they came out of it and played better. I don't really love their chances to win the game because it's there. It's a team that is way further along than them. So it would be a big upset to me if they won it. I would like them, for their sake, to play well, to feel like they're competing. And I think they will. I just feel like the lack of big play element is going to bite this team 2 or 3 times the rest of the season and frustrate people. It will make the improvement harder to see, but I think the improvement will be there.
Let's see if James Robinson can go full speed. That would help the Jags offense, of course. And by the way, Marvin Jones Jr.'s history against Indy is pretty good. 3 touchdowns in his career against the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, you pulled that one.
How about that one? We'll see if he can factor in. Mr. Reliable, there he is, right there in front of you. And has caught a ball at least in 105 straight games. So get him back involved a little bit more. Get him in the end zone. That'd be nice for Sunday. All right, that'll do it for our show today. Bucky, have a great week. We'll talk to you coming up on Sunday.
Sunday, let's get it.
That's Bucky Brooks.
All right, Bucky.
John Oehser's also here. I'm JP Shadrick. Our thanks to Joe Fortunato and Brent Reber. We'll catch you next time. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks on the Jaguars Hard Rock Sportsbook Digital Network.